It is with sadness in our hearts that we announce the death of Mary Alexendrine Joseph, better known as Masudwin Makwashi, or Mrs. Kwashi, or Alex of Agard Hill, Laclery. She passed away at Victoria Hospital on Saturday, July 23rd, at about 12:40 p.m. at the age of 85 years. She is survived by her husband, Cornelius John Joseph, employee of McNamara and Company Limited. Her children, Claudius Kwashi of Entrepot, employed at the St. Lucia Employers Federation; Althea Kwashi of Laclery, teacher at the Bonte Preparatory School; Andrew Kwashi of Laclery, employee of the Department of Labor; daughter-in-law Mrs. Yolande Kwashi of Entrepot. Her grandchildren, Anwa Kwashi in the USA, Alex Kwashi of Entrepot, Claudine Kwashi in the USA. Her only surviving nephew, Sylvester Felix of Bocage. Grandnieces, Camita Rosalie and the family of Kazaba, Shanna Rosalie and the family of Kazaba. Jerona Melius and family residing in England, Mary Adeline Melius and family residing in England, Sarah Danzy and family residing in England, Margaret Melius and family of Rosalie. Grandnephews, Trevor Charlemagne and family of Pave, Matthew Gabriel and family of Almondale Union, Edwin Melius and family in England, John Melius and family in England, Eleanor Aurelia and family of Gramivier, Rosalie, Titus Anthony and family, Alison Rosalie and family of Kazaba, Wilson Rosalie and family of Kazaba. Godchildren, Antonia Joseph, Francis of Cicero. Her best friend of over 60 years, Agatha Cherubin of Agard Hill, Laclery, better known as Nenen. Other family members, Miss Valencia Henry and family in the USA and Soufra, Angela Henry and family of Bizet, the Claudius and Joseph family of Cicero, the Boxall and Harris families of Lance Road and Castries, Catherine Etienne of Moshi, Viola Etienne, better known as Vayo of Lafayette Moshi, the Shulat family of Rosalie, Francis Henry and family of Cicero, Mr. Alexis Slater Johannes of Grand Riviere Rosalie, Mr. Angus Antoine of Kazaba, Miss Olive Williams and family of Toulouge, Cecilia Joseph and family of Hospital Road, Ignatius Joseph and family of Hospital Road, Dr. Horatius Jeffers and family of Vigi, the Jeffers family of Wapatat, Mrs. Rosalind Alfred and family of Market Road, Soufriere and the USA, Elizabeth Louis and family, better known as Morilla, Niall Joseph and family, Ryan Joseph, Ingrid, Siobhan and Lavon Eugene of Sunbuilt, Tristan Alfred in the US, Agnes Gabriel and Heather James of Tapio, Georgie and family of Millet, Mrs. Cecilia Rosalie of Kazaba, Kirsten Mark and family of Olio Denry, the Bora family of Wapatat, the Joseph family of Geno Tiroche. Very close friends and neighbors. Mr. and Mrs. Nicholas Edwards and family of Agard Hill, Monjiro and the USA. Miss Avis Thomas and family of Laclery. Miss Ida Smith and family of Laclery, Sharon Smith and family of Laclery, Linda Nelson of Laclery, Mrs. Esther Maitland of Laclery, Miss Sheila Gurley and family of Cap Estate, Mr. Rudolph Gurley and family of Cap Estate, Mr. and Mrs. Theo Gobat and family of Cap Estate, Cheryl Skeet of Bonte, Mrs. Teresa Hall of Lance Road, Miss Rosemary Maffrey and family, Mr. MacDonald Dixon, Mrs. Ida Edgar and family, better known as Mapobo of Corinth, Mrs. Ann Cox and family of Moshi, Mr. David Polius and family of Agard Laclery, Mrs. Veronica Mason of Marsha, Mrs. Portia Mida of Lance Road, Castries, Miss Ostina Joseph, better known as Ella, Magdalene Lecourt and family, Mrs. Sybil Marshall and family, Mrs. Mary Nicholas of Laclery, Mrs. Pearlie Best and family in St. Lucia and the USA, Mrs. Edith Marquis of Laclery, Mrs. Magdalena Labadie of Lance Road, Castries, Honorable Stevenson King and wife, Miss Celine Larcher and family of Laclery, Mrs. Muriel Gill of Wadawaj, Vern Gill and family of Fiji, Mr. Cyrus Evans and family in St. Lucia and the U.S., Mr. Colville Walcott, better known as Bocat of Laclery, Mr. Emmanuel Daisy and family of Laclery, better known as Mano, Mr. Thomas Varney and family of Laclery, Mr. Albert St. Romain and family in St. Lucia and Antigua, Miss Marjorie Esnard and family in Laclery, Josiane Petrona, Peter and Julius Cato of Laclery and the USA, Miss Cecilia George and family of Bexar, Mr. James Ovid and family, better known as Tyrone of Agarn Hill, Laclery, Miss Moriella Paul and family of St. Lucia and the USA, Miss Anselma Harris and family of Marissil, former members of the Laclery Mothers and Fathers Group, members of the Laclery Club 60 Group, the pastor and members of the Maranatha Estate Church, the nurses and health aides of the Laclery Health Centre, Dr. Takira Glasgow, diabetes physician, Tapia Hospital, Dr. C.N. Poda of Jeremy Street, Castries, Dr. Lydia Suarez of number 20 Victoria Street, Castries, other family and friends here and abroad, too numerous to mention. The funeral service of the late Mary Alexendrine Joseph will be held on Saturday, 6 August 2016 at 2 p.m. at the Lady of Fatima Catholic Church in Laclery, Castries. The body will then be interred at the Groseley Cemetery. May her soul rest in perfect peace.